Alright, welcome back everyone. So what do you notice here? This is identifying snitches, bitches, hoes, narcs, rats, private investigators, so on and so forth. This is a continuation of that and how to better pick them out from the crowd. So what are you noticing amongst this vehicle lineup? Granted, this is just a model, just an exercise in training. You're noticing two of a kind, right? Two of a kind, two of a kind. The more expensive investigators or snitches, video technicians, whatever you would like to call them, bitches, they will roll in vehicles that look exactly the same, but will have different plates on them. So as you're rolling through, once you figured out their area of operations, as you're rolling through, you'll notice that two vehicles look the same, maybe another two vehicles look the same, and maybe another two vehicles look the same. This is done intentionally to throw you off. That way, when you're being tailed by one of them, right? You're driving along in the city and you're being tailed by one of them. This one will make a turn off this way. Then a few minutes later, this one will come in behind you. Then they probably guessing that you're taking down their plate because you look suspicious. I mean, they are right up on your ass, and they want to smell your exhaust fumes. They want to know what color Christmas tree you have hanging in the rearview mirror. They want to know all that detail, right? So they got to get right fucking there, like a fucking NASCAR doing 200 miles an hour down the bank of Daytona, right? They want to be right fucking there. So they'll switch cars, right? They'll use radios or cell phones more than likely to, hey, I'm going to turn right over here, and you're going to pull in on the next block and pull in behind him. That way the cars look the same but have different plates, and it makes you scratch your head. That's the idea anyway. The other thing is you've been driving down this road for a year and nobody's ever broke down on this road, so you drive down it constantly, 5 days a week, maybe 6 days a week. Who knows, like I do, right? Down the same country road and nobody's ever there. All of a sudden, we got a car broke down right there. Okay, maybe it's one car, so you drive by there one day, and then you come back from the grocery store, and look at that. There's another car that happens to be broke down, but it's a different car. Damn near in the same location. And so you're driving back home. Well, that's kind of fucking odd. So the next day comes. Here comes another car. Maybe it's not that one, but, just for shits and giggles, maybe it's a different car. So you're driving back to work, the grocery store, whatever the case may be, and fucking hey, another broken car. And damn near the same fucking spot it was last time. So you can drive back home, and this time maybe there's two cars there. And, well, that's strange. Whereas before, there's never, ever any broke down cars there. Then you'll notice strange things like near your work, right? So there's a parked car on the side of the road. Cars are driving by all the time. And then you drive by, and that's weird. There's a fucking car parked in front of my work. And as you continue on further, oh fuck, there's another car parked there. You got to pull into your workspace. Driver never gets out, right? Car leaves. Time to leave work. This time, there's another car parked there in a slightly different spot, right? These are all indicators, plus extremely dark windows. Extremely dark windows. They do not want you to be able to see them, which also works in your favor at nighttime because it makes it harder for them to see you. Ask me how I know when I'm watching them from the backside back here, staring at their cell phone thinking that they're watching something that they're not watching other than a bunch of fucking porch lights. The other thing you'll notice is, let's just say that's your driveway for all intensive purposes. That's your driveway, you're parked there, and then you'll notice that cars just fucking park off in the distance and they sit there. Maybe that one leaves an hour later, and then another one will come park in a little bit different location, or maybe a little bit different angle. They'll sit there, and sometimes they'll even have signs on them, like specialty signs, like water purification, cockroaches are us, we do you too, whatever the case may be. They'll put some magnetic sign on there, or maybe even a vinyl wrap, and they pretend to be something that they're not. So always use a standalone camera, preferably a 35mm DSLR with a couple of different lenses, one for close-up, one for long distance. Long distance lenses are usually called a telephoto lens. If you get, I'd stick with a name brand such as Nikon or what's the other one? Olympus? Is it Olympus or no, Canon? Stick with Nikon or Canon. Those are going to be your two best ones to get. Put a dash cam in your vehicle. Put one in the backside if you have the means to do so. Have it aiming out towards the hot spots. They will run all the time. Go back and review the video footage. Check it. Drive to your local hotels, I would say within a 20-mile radius, maybe even 30-mile, depending on how far you live. Look at the maps on Google Maps, where your nearest highway is, what nearest highway or interstate that you live, what hotels are lined up within that distance, right? Go check them out. Morning, noon, night, different times of the day, different days of the week. Obviously, maybe this is an employee at Hotel A, right? So you're going to see that employee's car there all the time, right? You might see that in slightly different locations, but then you're going to see this van pop up one day. Then maybe on the next day it's going to be over here. Maybe on the next day it's going to be over here, or a week later it's going to be back, right? And maybe you'll see, oh, fucking A, I recognize that car. It's in there. And a lot of them, they will not run a front license plate. And they'll back in because they don't want people like me actually, they don't want people like me to be able to discover them so easily, right? That's why they do that. State of Texas, it's required by law to run a front and back plate, but they will break the law intentionally and not run a front plate, just so you know. So that's okay. Get out of the car, walk around, and have your cell phone at chest level like you're texting or messaging somebody, and take a picture of the plate. Just walk back there. Who the fuck cares? That's what they do. They do it to you, do it to them right back, and then post the shit on social media. The best way to deal with these guys is to become a threat to these guys. Do what they do. When they tailgate you, for example, you pull out of the gas station and they're tailgating you. There's obviously a clear lane where they can make a passing maneuver. Let's say the speed limit where I live is 45 miles an hour. I slow down to 35 miles an hour. They're still there, right on my ass. There's a clear lane where they can pass, but they don't do it. That is a good indicator of a person who is trying to follow you, track you, get a paycheck, for lack of a better description. So what you want to do is slow down. Slow down. I put my car in first gear. Without touching the brakes, it'll mechanically have engine braking. It will slow down to damn near 2 miles an hour. Then they are forced to come up and around you. With the dash cam rolling as they make a passing maneuver, I then grab their license plate. And I speed up if I need to. And I grab their license plate and I call it out into my dash camera. And then I store it on my computer for later reference. Some of these guys have become aware that I'm doing this, so they don't do it so much anymore. Now they're a little more stealthy. They usually park way off in the distance as I'm driving off the road at 80 miles an hour. It's hard to catch their plate, but you can definitely see that there's a car at a place where there normally is not one. So other things they like to do as you're like shopping, right? As you're going around and you're pushing your buggy, these guys will walk through the store without a buggy or anything in their hands, and they will have the cell phone up to their ear with the camera facing you as they miraculously walk all the way around you with this camera pointed right at you, and never have anything in their fucking hands, right? You are being recorded on video. So this is what you do when you notice that. Put your finger right up here in their forehead as they're walking around. recording that. This is what they're gonna get. A big fuck you, right? You get a big fuck you as they're walking around, huh? They may not notice it at first, but when they go back and review the video, they're gonna see this. That's another tactic. The other thing is they'll park a couple of cars, if they can, they'll park a couple of cars away from you. Right? Let's just say you're that one. Then they'll park over here, sitting there, like so. You come out of the grocery store, you're unloading your groceries into the back of the car. There'll be a man or a woman sitting there, like if it was me doing this, wearing a dark shirt, making it harder to discern, maybe pretend like I'm scratching. So I'm recording video, maybe smoking a cigarette, leaning up against the back of my car. Yeah, well, I'm just taking a little break right here. The whole entire time I'm recording you unload your groceries for some fucking important reason I have yet to discover, because I don't know. It's not like one day I showed up with a pink Lamborghini in front of my house. I've been driving the same fucking car for over 10 years. But they're fucking clueless. They're not the smartest guys. I promise you, they're not that smart. But that's the kind of shit they do. The other one is when you're sitting at a restaurant with your family. This is the one that pissed me off that I started making videos on and releasing them to the public. I'm sitting there, I'm eating lunch. I have my daughter next to me on my right. My wife is in front of me. Then in the stall behind that, there's a man and a woman. They come and sit down. They just ordered a couple of Cokes, right? A couple of Cokes. They didn't get anything to eat. Oops, dropped my phone. Then I see him. You know, okay, first let's go over this. Body language, right? Body language. You know when most people are doing a text message, they're like, their head is down, their phone is down, they're looking down, right? But this, they come up, let's see, make sure I'm on camera. They come up like this, and then they pretend like they're doing something, like they're texting their best friend, smiling. But my daughter was in that fucking picture. You cannot convince me that my daughter was not in that picture, because I know body language. I studied enough bad people in my lifetime to know body language and how people react. And all you gotta do is start paying attention to little things, like when you're out eating. Look at the other people and how they use their cell phone. Look at them, whether they're eating at lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever the case may be, at whatever restaurant that may be. No focus. But anyway, pay attention to body language. When the average person is shopping in a store, they're not trying to follow you around with their camera lens. They're just walking straight by. They don't give a fuck. They're just walking straight by. If they are talking to Joe Schmo Ho, you know, that they're just walking straight by. It's no big deal. But when they're taking the time to make a big loop around you and make sure that this fucking camera lens is following you all the way around to the best of their ability, that means somebody's getting paid. So those are some helpful hints to help identify whether you're behind on child support, you got a fake hurt back, maybe a real stalker or stalkers. I don't know. It could be beneficial to you. Just sharing information that I have gathered, because they're obviously dealt with the wrong person. And they have obviously dealt with the wrong person. These idiots, these fucknuts, bitches, assholes, cocksuckers, motherfuckers, low-life scumbags, whatever you would like to call them, I don't know. They're worthless pieces of shit that use way too much free time, way too much money to try and solve a so-called problem, especially when dealing with somebody like me. They've been following me for over 10 fucking years, and they haven't learned a goddamn fucking thing. I promise you, they haven't learned a fucking thing. Oh my God, he's at Walmart again. Oh my God, he went to the gas station again. Can you fucking believe? Boss, he's at the gas station again. Really? Follow him. Get right up on his ass and get his plate number and verify that. I'll pay you $1.50. I don't know what their pay rate is. I don't know. But I did see a while back, quite a while back, a number of years ago, where they're looking for what's called video surveillance technicians. And they train these guys, and every so often they have a meeting at one of these hotels. They did switch it up once they got wind of, hey, that guy's caught on to us. We're going to switch that up from this hotel to this hotel down the road here. I caught on to it. I was damn near tempted to walk in and sit down one day, but I had someplace to be. I was tempted to just fucking walk in, because almost every hotel / motel, all the same shit in my opinion. They have what's called a ballroom or a meeting room, whatever the case you want to be, where they can all gather together and they can pick each other's brains. Oh my God, what did you find out? Oh, I saw this guy eating a hamburger today. They don't have a life. This guy's going to come out of his house any minute now. I just know it. He's behind $12,000 on child support. I know he's going to buy a brand new Lamborghini in pink. Been driving the same fucking car for 10 years, motherfuckers. Hello? Nothing. You cannot get it past these dumbasses. They are clueless. They're more clueless than you watching this video, I promise you. These idiots doing this shit, following you, they're the fucking dumbasses. Like a while back, probably about 2 years ago, I was being tailgated. I pulled out of the gas station, tailgated by a little black BMW Econo box. I don't know. It looked like one of them little smart cars, but it's a BMW version. I don't even know what the fuck it is, but I remember it's black and it's a BMW. That's what I remember for sure. Had tinted windows. And I slowed down to damn near nothing. Forced the lady to go around, got her plate number, end of story. I got it on dash cam, saved it to my computer. Not even the next day, I'm back at the very same gas station. This time, she's parked there getting gas. Little black female. I get out of my car, and I pull out my cell phone, and I open carry. I want to make sure that shit is seen. And I come out there, I pull my cell phone out, and I take a picture, like nobody's business, bright and early, of her car, and her sitting in it. Just to let her know that, yeah, I fucking see you too. She threw that motherfucking car in reverse. I've never seen her again. She is gone. Right? So, you have to fight fire with fire, right? Like firefighters. Oh, that's bad. You shouldn't fight fire with fire. You shouldn't bring a gunfight to a gunfight. You should talk reason into them. No, you fight fire with a fire, right? That's how it works. You don't send in the military with fucking water balloons when you're dealing with the fucking military, right? That's how it works. We send in the military with bombs, grenades, helicopters, airplanes, automatic weapons to deal with a military that has the same thing, right? That's how we deal with the bad guys. And obviously, they don't know who the fuck they're dealing with. They have no fucking clue. Like I said before, use their own technology against them. This very same device that they're using to track me, I use to find out their location. Because I was timing their response time. One time at Walmart, their response time was about 5 minutes. So another time, I went way far away. About 22 miles roughly. Picked a place on Google Maps, little park, one way in, one way out, perfect location. Forced them to have to drive around where I was sitting, but they couldn't see me. There's a tree line blocking me, and then, oh, there he is. Middle of a rainstorm, guy gets out. Middle of a rainstorm. He walks out with his fucking tablet. He must have a good tablet. He's walking out there in the fucking rain, swinging that tablet like nobody's business with the camera down. And then as he changes positions, he changes the camera position as well. And then he come back the other way, right? Making sure Making sure, well, the whole time I'm with my 35 millimeter DSLR, sitting back, the heater on, window wipers, These guys are fucking clueless. You're not gonna catch very much information on this little fucking... There's 4 little cameras in this motherfucker. And it doesn't catch as much information as my 35 millimeter DSLR. I promise you it doesn't. I know, because I've compared them. This is good for on the spot, like, oh shit, I think I saw that car, pull out cell phone, take a picture, bam. Widescreen if you can, because then you're going to get the detail of the car, get the license plate, hopefully, at an angle, catch the vehicle at an angle. You get the front plate or rear plate and the kind of a view of the vehicle. Right? That's how you want to do that, at a slight angle if you can. If you're doing it this way, you're more than likely you're only going to catch one little part of it, which is not enough. You need enough to know what the fuck you're looking at. That way you can compare your notes against the other shit, your dash cam, whatever pictures you took at home, and trust your instinct. Check your mirrors, right? A good driver anyway is going to check his mirrors about every 10 to 20 seconds. Check your left mirror here in the United States, right? Check your rear view mirror every 10 to 20 seconds. Use your turn signals. If you see somebody, you're cruising along at the speed limit, let's say it's 55, out here in the country, 55, you're all alone, I'm all alone, then all of a sudden this car comes out of fucking nowhere and gets right up on your fucking, hey, hello, red flag. There's something wrong with this car, especially when there's a fucking passing lane. Red flags. Trust your instinct. Learn to listen to it. You ever drove down the street one day and you're like, damn, I think I'm going to turn left right here, but you didn't and you end up getting pulled over by the police? Yeah. That's because your instinct was telling you you need to go a different direction. I tell you what, in the military, when we're cruising downtown Baghdad, and one of the soldiers said, man, this shit don't feel right, let's go somewhere else. We listened to that shit. We moved out. We went in a different location. Come to find out, later on, the next convoy that went to patrol that area got blown the fuck up. Right? Because nobody listened to their instinct. So trust your instinct. Everybody has it. Just that we are born and bred to move it out of existence. Put it off to the side. Just because you can't see it with your eyes doesn't mean it's not real. It is there. There is something there. I don't know if you want to call it a radio signal, your spirit talking to you, whatever mojo you think fits that description, fine, that fits it. But trust your instinct. Whatever it is that's triggering that emotion, that thought, that sensation, that adrenaline, learn to listen to it. Is there anything else I can think of to help identify? Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They could be so much better served, these so-called private investigators working the borders of the United States of America. But it seems how we have bigger problems. That's not going to happen. We're going to vote for a person based upon the color of her skin and not because she can run a 7-Eleven mini mart successfully. Have a good day.